The Toronto Blue Jays have officially collapsed. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet. I'm Adam Peddle, joined alongside Nicholas Paleolog. And you guys know, if you watch our past podcasts, we're Blue Jays fans, so this one's going to hit a lot harder. The Blue Jays have literally played the worst brand of baseball they've ever played in a long time, literally stretching back seasons, and it's happening for them at the absolute worst time because postseason is right around the corner. They had the AL East clinched up, basically 5-game lead, and now today they are tied with the New York Yankees. We're going to break down what the hell's going on, give our thoughts and reactions, and more. Make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Nick, how are you feeling on this beautiful rainy, it's almost ironic that it's pouring outside our condo in Toronto, beautiful rainy Thursday morning?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we try to keep our bias out of this as much as possible. That's just not going to happen in this one, everyone. There was a moment about a week ago that the Toronto Blue Jays were like, we were like 5 games up. And yes. Now, all of a sudden, when we go over to the standings right here, it is full on, lead is gone. We're tied with the Yanks. Yanks, you know what? Credit where credit is due. We are going to give them their flowers in this podcast. We're going to talk about the New York Yankees, but everything is all square. Now, as it stands today, right now, Toronto would still get the bye because we have that tiebreaker, that head-to-head tiebreaker against New York. They've beaten them more times than New York has beaten them in the season, so that is something to hang your hat on if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. However, there's still 4 games left. And this Toronto Blue Jays team, we said that they collapsed, but it's not even just it is a past tense thing, but it is also a present thing because they are in the process of still collapsing.
Yeah.
This offense has been horrendous.
It's been bad. They had 1 game this past week against the Kansas City Royals on Sunday where they actually clinched, and good thing they did, or else we'd be still sitting here like, oh, are they even going to the playoffs? That game was 8 runs. Other than that game, 6 of the last 7 games, the Blue Jays have scored 1 run or fewer. That's the first time since June 1994, and that's when I was referring to how they haven't done this in a long time. That's insane. A team that was built off of offense and on base and, getting to these good pitchers and wearing them down and then getting that bullpen and coming back and winning games with this magical team, to do this right at the end tells me a lot right now. It tells me that this team is starting to get in their heads. They're starting to press a little bit. They're starting to get out of their approaches, what they had all season long, which was attack a pitch and do damage. Now they're trying to get the result rather than get the process going, and it shows with even more stats here.
Yeah, of course, right? And the result is that they're terrible. I mean, shout out to Chris Black right here. He said the Toronto Blue Jays hitters have a .463 OPS over their last 7 games. That's the lowest OPS in any 7-game span in 30 years. That's obviously atrocious. And even if you're a fan and you're telling yourself, well, the Toronto Blue Jays are still going to make the playoffs, none of that matters because the second that they get to the playoffs playing like this, they are just going to be absolutely smoked out of the water. Like, honestly, just a walkover team. Yeah. Now, the New York Yankees, on the other hand, this is where we're going to give them their flowers. Yeah. Over the last 15 days, they've been picking it up, right? So I throw back to, it was about, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I think it was, when the New York Yankees shit was all hitting the fan.
In July, when they were committing errors and there's no offense.
And I remember that we were sitting here on this podcast and we were talking about how it's like, wow, yeah, they're not a complete team, everything like that. I mean, honestly, I think they just got the crap out of the way early. Yeah, and now I'm feeling jealous of them. It's like you had your shit time, you had your shit month, and now here you are, closing in on playoffs, and you're ramping up.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had this thought, and I pushed it aside in my brain because, why would I think this? It's just anxiety coming into my brain of like when they were peaking early, the Toronto Blue Jays. I was like, man, I really hope this isn't the peak, and that they don't collapse later on and like get their bad shit later, because they had the bad shit in April, but they were due for some more bad shit, and it's happening right now. But I digress away from the Yankee conversation. But yeah, you're right. Like the Yankees are picking up at the right time offensively, and they're doing just just enough with the pitching staff. Right now, they are 16th in pitching, and that's always been their kind of Achilles heel all year long. Like, yeah, they've got Max Fried and Rodon, and they're playing really well, and Heel, and the starting pitching is pretty exciting. The bullpen has had a lot of questions all year long with Devin Williams and company. So, like, that's always going to be kind of weigh them down overall when it comes to ERA. But still, when you have Aaron Judge popping off and he hit a homer last night against the White Sox, that's going to make you soar to the playoffs,
100%.
into the World Series.
And honestly, like, I feel like the referring to them as 16th is almost a little deceptive because their ERA is 3.7, which is actually like pretty solid, for a team-wide ERA, especially when you have an offense like theirs that has an OPS that is, in the 800s. So it's like, well, you're going to score enough runs. Like, if you only give up, 3.5 runs a game, you are going to score more than that.
Yeah.
Looking over at now, what needs to happen for Toronto and or what needs to happen for New York? Everything is very tight, folks.
It is.
Toronto still holds the minor advantage, and I guess we can flash over to the playoff odds right here. They are at a 54.1% chance to win the division compared to the New York Yankees, effectively 46%. So there's about an 8% gap right there between Toronto and New York. Looking over at what needs to happen here, though, if Toronto goes 4-0, nothing the Yankees can do. That's it. They're cooked. Well, they're not cooked, but they're going to the wild card game, and that's just what it's going to be. If Toronto goes 3-1, though, that forces New York to go 4-0, and if they do go 4-0, that's when they will win the division. That's when they get the bye. That's when everybody's happy in New York, and it kind of follows accordingly speaking. And this is where, as a Toronto Blue Jays fan, I can confidently say right now, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, they're not going 4-0.
No.
With the way that they're playing. And I find it hard to believe, too, that they're going to go 3-1, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no. Like, the remaining schedule for the Blue Jays is not easy, and considering the way they're playing right now, I mean, we just flashed you up all the numbers. They are not scoring runs. You cannot win baseball games if you're scoring runs. The pitching has been fine enough. I mean, other than Scherzer last night giving up a lot of runs, and then it was basically over from there. But you still can't win games if you're not scoring runs. So with that be considered, you have Boston tonight. Then you have a 3-game series against Tampa Bay Rays, which you just were grinding out that series when you're over there in Steinbrenner Field. I mean, you could, let's say, win tonight and then you win 2 of 3. Like, if hypothetically, if everything was right and then you go 3-1, if everything was going right for the Blue Jays, that's what they would do, and they would split this whole homestand that they have for the Blue Jays. But the way they're playing doesn't instill them with confidence, and the New York Yankees, I feel a lot more confident with their schedule. They've got one more game against the White Sox. Then they got the Orioles 3-game series. I could see them going 3-1, and realistically, the Blue Jays, the way they're playing right now at their upside, could go 2-2. And
100%.
Guess what? That right there is a scenario where the Yankees are winning the division. So with all that being kind of considered, Yankees are going to win this division, folks. The momentum is in their camp.
It does feel like that, and I think that's why you're seeing, even though the Toronto Blue Jays effectively have a game over them, the odds are so tight.
Yeah. We lost ourselves there for a little bit, but we're back.
But yeah, ultimately, it's like, I think about the caliber of play from both sides right here, and Toronto, even though they are playing like ass, they got to find a way because they need that bye. The wild card series starts next Tuesday. So we're less than a week now from the wild card, you know what I mean? And the Toronto Blue Jays, like, they were in a position of strength for a long period of time, thinking that they were going to get that bye, thinking that they were going to get some rest, thinking that Bo Bichette was going to return. If they go from where they are right now into a wild card series,
it's game over.
It's game over.
Funny enough, when you look at it, let's just pretend that the Blue Jays, let's say they lose, right? They lose out on the division and they're in a wild card spot where the New York Yankees are. Guess who you're facing at the Rogers Center in 3 games? The Boston Red Sox. What just happened in the last 2 days? You faced their 2 best pitchers in Giolito and Crochet, and you even threw a Gosman there too. Guess what? You scored 1 run total. That reminds me of 2023 when they faced the Twins, where they only scored 1 run in 2 games. You would have gotten swept again, and that would have added to the 0-8 total, or the 0-6 total. Now would be 0-8. That will happen. So, yeah, this doesn't instill me with a lot of confidence that even if the Blue Jays go to the wild card, they're not going to have a chance to win.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the American League playoffs as a whole right now, and I mean, I see 4 teams right there that are hot and that are winning ball games at the right time, and that's Seattle, that's Cleveland, that's New York, and that's Boston. And they all have good last tens, and they've all been winning games in a row. And then I see Toronto and I see Detroit, and the sad thing is like Toronto and Detroit, they were at the top for the longest period of time, both of them. It was Toronto and Detroit for months of time. That was who it was. And now all of a sudden, for both sides, the shit is hitting the fan. And I think as it stands today, even though they were the top dogs for the longest period of time, I look at them and I think that Toronto and Detroit, that's the easy pickings for somebody right now in a wild card matchup.
It's a Greek tragedy. It truly is.
It feels like it.
How the mighty have fallen, and that's what it feels like right now. But folks, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who are you riding with in this AL East? I know I'm going Yankees, and I think you are as well.
It just feels like everything is pointing in that direction. I really hope that that's not the case. Toronto, they're more than capable of going 3-1, which I think that, like, if you can do that, like, I'll still be, you put the pressure on the Yankees, and that would be asking a lot if you're New York. It's just with the way that they're playing right now, 3-1 feels like a mountain to climb.
Yeah, they got to turn on the switch. It's literally got to be a switch because, like, it's got to be night and day what we saw in the last week of baseball. But guys, again, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.